So, the Mario and Luigi Brothership game, which came out a couple of months ago, back in November, it's a game that I don't think has sold nearly as much as people had hoped. And I'm pretty sure Nintendo is disappointed by the sales figures. But at the same time, you look at the Mario and Luigi, series, the spin off series, it's not expected to do a whole lot in sales, but I still feel like it should have sold more than it has within the past couple of months. And last time I checked, Mario and Luigi Brothership for the Switch console has did like 1.8 million in sales. And I don't think the number has changed since then. And and I don't know, let's be honest. I mean, 2024 was kind of an underwhelming year for Nintendo overall because there wasn't really any high profile releases or anything other than Super Mario Party Jamboree. And and I think that game actually ended up being like one of the better selling games of 2024, if not the best selling game of 2024, because since its release, it did over 6 million units in terms of sales. And that's actually pretty good, by today's standards, because a lot of games could barely break over 3 or 4 million in terms of sales. But yeah, you look at Mario and Luigi Brothership, the game itself, I think, has a nice look to it in terms of art direction, in terms of gameplay. The story's simplistic, and I know it's gotten a lot of crap for being way too simplistic, but the game is designed to target like children for the most part, so it can't be really complex or convoluted or anything like that. But I think one of the biggest criticisms about the game is the lack of control that players have over Luigi in the overworld, because if you play the game, you see that there's a nice, overworld map, and players primarily control Mario. And for some reason, this game is a single player game, and I think that was one of the main issues with this game was that you have a Mario and Luigi game, but it's only single player. Now, back in the day when you had the platform Mario and Luigi games, they were always two players because you can control either character. I just feel like this game is kind of weird. It'd be like if if like you had Super Mario 64 from back in the day, and then Luigi was like also in the game, but he was just a character that like follows Mario around and you can't really control him, or you have limited control over him. I guess like that's what this game kind of feels like. Now, of course, Luigi wasn't actually in Super Mario 64, but I feel like this would be like the equivalent of that in terms of just having him in the game and then just like not being able to have any control over him, or just having limited control over him overall. Because some people look at that and they're just like, what's the point of that whole thing? Because the whole idea is that you'll be able to like control both characters, because it's a Mario and Luigi game. It's not supposed to be Mario, along with Luigi or whatever, because it makes Luigi look like he's Mario's sidekick. And let's be brutally honest. I mean, Luigi has been casted and portrayed as Mario's sidekick for the most part, even though they're brothers, but that's another story altogether. But I feel like Mario and Luigi Brothership, it's a pretty good game. A lot of people feel like it's something that it's one of the better, like, Mario and Luigi RPG games that we've gotten. It's one of the better Nintendo RPGs that we have gotten within the Mario series. I wouldn't say it's as good as Super Mario RPG from 1996, or even as good as the remake that we got back in 2023. And I think the remake of Super Mario RPG sold more than this. But then again, Mario and Luigi Brothership, it's only been out for a couple of months, and I don't know, maybe people are not as invested in the video game series as they used to be, because you got to remember that the Mario and Luigi, video game series has been around since the early 2000s, and obviously the original developer had went under, and the original developer was Alpha Dream. They're the ones who worked on Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga for Game Boy Advance back in the day, and for the most part, like that particular series has been like niche for for the most part, because it's something that was expected to sell more than the main Mario entry games or anything like that. And I guess like when it first started, it was more fresh and it was new. And I guess like, there was like a lot of Nintendo fans who were really into it. And I think that was the case like for the past like 2 decades or whatever, because after the Superstar Saga game, we got Partners in Time for Nintendo DS, then we got Bowser's Inside Story for the DS, we got Alpha Dream or Alpha Team for the 3DS, we got Paper Jam for the 3DS. And yeah, like I feel like the spin-off series obviously had a degree of popularity to it. Otherwise, it would have ended a lot sooner. We wouldn't have gotten Brothership. But by today's standards, I would say that doing over 1 mil for like a spin-off series that no one really pays that much attention to, that's been irrelevant for years, I think that's actually like pretty decent. Like I said, it hasn't even been a year yet, so it's possible that those sales could eventually go up over time. I can't necessarily make a prediction on what the overall sales would look like by the end of 2025, but I'm pretty sure that it's something that's going to stay popular throughout 2025 because I don't see too many high profile releases on the radar for Nintendo this year other than Metroid Prime 4. And Mario Kart 9 is rumored to be coming out this year, but I don't think that's something that Nintendo has confirmed yet. But if Mario Kart 9 has been confirmed for this year, then that would make two big games for the Switch console that people are going to be looking forward to. And unfortunately, that's something that might possibly take the shine off of the Mario and Luigi Brothership game. And and I don't think that's something that Nintendo, is really worried about because I think this game actually sold more than the Princess Peach game that we got last year because I think that did like 1.2 million in copies, somewhere around that ballpark. So it definitely sold more than that. And I think it's pretty good for a video game where Princess Peach is the main character and everything solely revolves around her. So Nintendo, they were trying something new, and I guess they place more time and emphasis on spin-off games in 2024 for the most part. And the fact that they're even able to break a mill is actually impressive. And because, like I said, if you're able to do like 1 or 2 mil in this day and age, that's actually considered to be good because it seems like a lot of video games are not doing too great in terms of sales. And as a result, you have video game developers and studios making layoffs all across their companies and stuff like that. And shutting down studios and whatever. And I feel like that's a trend that's just going to continue throughout the rest of 2025. But as far as Mario and Luigi Brothership being a sales flop, I think it's a little too early to tell. We'll probably just have to give it a little bit more time. It's quite possible that the sales figures will be significantly higher before the end of 2025.